The defendant's vehicle stopped on the side of Bouldercrest Road at Anvil Block Road, asleep behind the wheel of his vehicle. The defendant's vehicle had left the roadway and come to a stop on the opposite shoulder of Bouldercrest Road and had come to a stop against a road sign.
Hear me, yo. Watching how them opera boys get sentenced. You know how the fuck's going on, man. Y'all boys tuned into that Oouchie court watch. Well, we taking it straight from the jail cell to the judge. Hear me?
And now, Mr. Matthews, Mr. Daniel. Mr. Daniel, may I see you, please? All right. So, Mr. Daniel, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You can put your hand down. So, Mr. Daniel, you're before the court. You're represented by Attorney Matthews. Your charges were DUI, less safe, and improper lane change. It is my understanding that count 1 has been amended to reckless driving. Count 2 is improper lane change. Mr. Matthews, how does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
He would like to plead NOLO if it's available for him.
Y'all worked out the plea. Is that going to be a problem, Ms. Hagler?
That the NOLO was not on the table when I did the offer, since I did reduce it.
Mr. Matthews?
Okay, so it's not a big issue for my client. We would like to proceed.
Okay. All right. So by entering a plea of guilty to count 1, and
Your Honor, for clarity purposes, based on the amended accusation, it should be non-pros counts 1, counts 3, and then he's pleading to count 4, the reckless. That's just the way it came out. I guess that was amended.
It was on my calendar. So, okay. So I have
Are you able to share the screen of the plea paperwork so we can view it and make sure that we're all on the same page?
No.
Because I don't have it in front of me. I don't have the plea paperwork.
I don't do on a plea on video. I don't use plea paperwork. Everything is on the record.
Right. Well, I would definitely like a copy and like for my client to see what's following along as he take the plea. And
we can send it to you in the chat directly to you.
Yeah, go ahead and send
we'll do that
accusation
in the chat directly to you. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Judge.
So, and then what I have is correction on the numbers, but DUI less safe count 2 is going to be no pros. Count 3 is improper lane change, and that's going to be no pros too. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. And then count 4 is the reckless driving.
And then count 4 would be the reckless driving that he would plead to.
And then, sorry, the count 1 is? There's
no count 1. So whoever, either that didn't come up as a count 1 or somebody else was involved in the stop and there was a count 1.
Gotcha.
All right. So, but for your client, there's only a 2 and a 3.
Thank you.
Okay. So count 2, reckless driving. Count 2, DUI will be no pros. Count 3, improper lane change will be no pros. And count 4, reckless driving is a guilty plea. By entering this plea of guilty to count 4, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Mr. Daniel?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about March the 20th of 2022, while on patrol in the area of Bouldercrest Road and Anvil Block Road, Ellenwood, Georgia, 30296, Clayton County, Officer Eric Kilgore observed the defendant's vehicle stopped on the side of Bouldercrest Road at Anvil Block Road, asleep behind the wheel of his vehicle. The defendant's vehicle had left the roadway and come to a stop on the opposite shoulder of Boulder Crest Road and had come to a stop against a road sign. After walking upon the defendant, Officer Kilgore noticed a strong odor of alcohol coming from the defendant and noticed that he had bloodshot running eyes. The defendant said that he had drank one margarita around 1 hour. At that time, Officer Kilgore did conduct standardized field sobriety testing and observed the following clues: HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 7 out of 8, and one leg stand 3 out of 4. Those are the facts of the case. The state's recommendation, again, the first count, DUI, alcohol as safe, non-pros, improper lane change, non-pros, and a fine of $600 for the reckless driving.
All right, Mr. Matthews?
Yes, just like this court to accept that this plea on today. My client is remorseful. He's accepted responsibility. He's been accountable for his actions, and he's learned, and he would like to get this behind him so he can continue forward with his life.
So, and my understanding is only the $600 fine, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
All right, so does he need, I usually give people who are not at the courthouse 30 days to pay. Does he need more than 30 days to pay the fine? It'll be more than $600. It'll be more like $800 or $900 because of the surcharges.
I believe 30 days should be good for him. Is that accurate, Mr. Daniel?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so Mr. Daniel, the last thing I'm gonna need is your email address, because we're gonna email you your sentencing sheet. And once you get your sentencing sheet, it'll have the exact date on which the payment needs to be made. Please make sure that you make your payment on or before that date. Otherwise, an arrest warrant could issue for violation of the suspended sentence, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so do you know how to use the chat function?
I can figure it out.
Okay, so do you see chat on your screen?
Chat.
Yeah, it should. It'll either be at the bottom of your screen and it'll look like a little cartoon
Yes, ma'am.
bubble.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so click on that. When you see the name in blue, which should be everyone, but click on the name in blue and it should pull down a menu, and you're looking for Amanda Wright, R-Y-T-E. Her name should be at the top of the list. Once you see that, click on Amanda Wright.
Okay.
All right. Type in your first and last name and your full email address. Make sure you check it to make sure all of the numbers and letters are in the right place, and then send that to Ms. Wright.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, once you've done that, you'll receive your document. If you don't receive it by tomorrow, check your spam folder. It will tell you when your amount has to be paid, and you can come into the second floor of Clayton County Justice Center at 9151 Tierra Boulevard to pay, or you can pay online or by phone. There'll be instructions in the email about that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you have any
Ms.
questions?
Wright, Ms. Wright, can you put your email in the chat just in case anything goes wrong? So I have it so I can make sure Mr. Daniel is doing
Well,
right.
if that's the case, because Ms. Wright is not always here for me, so just contact the clerk's office, the state court clerk, and
Thank
they'll
you.
get in contact with me if anything needs to be amended.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Daniel, you good?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Mr. Daniel, I recognize that this was a couple of years ago. You were younger and less mature. So I am sure that you understand that roads can be dangerous places. And so we have to guard ourselves so that we don't cause somebody to be harmed by our actions. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because everybody's not Mario Andretti. You know, y'all don't even know Mario Andretti. Everybody's not Lewis Hamilton anymore. You know, just, I mean, it takes a lot of skill and ability to drive and to drive safely and correctly. And I think everybody who gets behind the wheel of a car, once they figure out they got a license, everybody thinks they can drive like NASCAR, but there's more to it than that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. You're free to go at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Oouchie. Hayward.
All right.
You're welcome.
All right,
Thank
take
you,
care.
Mr. Matthews.
Oouchie Court Watch, we're on the scene. Truths unravel, and what does it mean? In the halls where stories clash, Oouchie Court Watch, quick as a flash.